Happy Monday, everyone. Kevin Sully, Lincoln Shrike here to break down a busy weekend in track and field. We saw 4 American records, 3 of them at the Armory, 1 world record, which happened in the pole vault. We finally are getting that Olympic year energy going, Lincoln. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it seems like all the athletes are really ready to go. Everyone seems fitter than they were a year ago, which makes sense in 2020.
I think they've started speed work.
Yeah.
It's fair to say. Let's start first just by ranking them. All right, so you have Mando Duplantis' world record, 6:17. He got really close early in the week, then finally pulled it off on Saturday. Ajay Wilson set an American record in the 800. Eleanor Purrier set an American record in the indoor mile.
Yes.
We also had Donovan Brazier break his own American record in the 800 indoors. And then, of course, Sam Hendricks made it a perfect pole vault weekend, getting an American record in the pole vault, 6.01 meters. Rank them for me, top to bottom here, Lincoln. What do you got?
1, Mando Duplantis, 6.17. That one, obviously, especially how he led into it on Tuesday, getting close. This time he gets it done. That's a clear number 1 for me. Purrier's number 2. I don't want to say that came out of nowhere. She's been running pretty well. She made a world team, but 4:16, second fastest ever. That kind of came out of nowhere. 3, I'll go with Brazier just because of the way he did it. I know it only took like 2/10 off of his previous record, and I think we all expected him to go that fast after the year he had last year, and then obviously he's starting out well a couple weeks ago in Boston. But the negative split aspect, I'll put that number 3. 4, I'll go Sam Hendricks, although it's hard when someone jumps so much higher than you do.
Yeah.
But
Also, his outdoor record
is
much
higher.
better than his indoor mark.
Yeah, tough act to follow, obviously, with Mando Duplantis, and he wasn't going to get much of the headlines. But yeah, 6:01 is an American record. First one, or beats a record that it's for 18 years. After that, I'll just go Ajay Wilson.
Yeah.
It was a good run for her, and even though she already had the record and she's run about this, it seems like every year at the Milrose Games, she didn't run a super fast opener, so I didn't exactly know what to expect, but she's right on Ajay Wilson territory. Doesn't mean the last was necessarily the worst.
Oh, no,
but
you ranked him. I have it right here. I'd flip the last two.
Fine.
I'd flip the last two. Ajay Wilson, she's just so ho-hum about it, but it's still impressive to run that fast indoors. Let's go back to Purrier real quick. 4:16.85. You say it didn't come out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere for me. Yes, she made the world team. Yes, she ran fast at the Fifth Avenue Mile. She ran some good times at the NCAA level. But to run that time, she hit the 1,500 meter mark, if you want to equate this to 1,500, at 4 flat.
Yeah.
So if you do the conversions, I don't know, it's sitting somewhere between 355 high, all the way even on the worst possible conversion, you're going to see like a 358. And that's indoors. So imagine what she could do outdoors. That's crazy. She beats Coco, World Championship bronze medalist and someone who was runner-up in the Diamond League last year. She beats Gemma Reekie, who just dropped to 157.9, and she beats Gabrielle DeVue Stafford, who's run 356 in the 1,500. That was a stunner for me. Perfect race. She had the benefit of Coco really pushing the pace once the rabbit stepped off. Convince me why she shouldn't be focused on the 1,500 now for this Olympic year.
Well, I think you have 4 to 5 women in the 1,500 that are going to be able to kick off a tactical pace, even if it's not that tactical. You know Shelby Houlihan's still ahead of her, even though the fact that she's run 4:16. Jenny Simpson's been there for over a decade. And then you have people like Kate Grace, Nikki Hiltz, and Sinclair Johnson. Do I think Purrier can be better? Yes. Am I as confident in her, though, as her making the team in the 5,000? No. I mean, yes, this 4:16 miles is impressive, and she's been closing really, really well. I just think, maybe she tries to run both if it's a possibility at the trials, but I still think the 5,000, she can improve in that event. We know the 1,500 is loaded internationally. I mean, Constance Klosterhoffen's a great 1,500 runner. Look what distance she runs at on the international stage at World Championships, Olympics. She runs the 5,000. It's just an easier event to try to scrape up into a top 10 position or beyond. I still have some concerns about Purrier. I think it would be a risk for her to just commit fully to the 1,500 over the 5,000, a much easier team to make. I think back last year she ran 4:02 outdoors, and then she lost a race to Shannon Osika a couple weeks later. Nothing against Shannon Osika. But this is a breakout performance. To me, though, it does remind me of a Johnny Gregoric level of like when he ran 3:49. That didn't automatically make him the best miler 1500 guy in the United States.
Right.
And I feel somewhat similar about this. Now, obviously, Gregoric had made a 1500 team before and made a world championship final, and Purrier an accomplished runner on her own. But this is kind of what that feels like to me.
I just think if you have a chance to run in the 15 versus the 5 internationally, you take the 15 every day of the week.
Yeah.
You say you can sneak into the top 10 in the 5, which is true. It might be easier to sneak into the top 10. But to get a medal, it's just much easier in the 15 because of the tactics of the race. No U.S. woman has ever medaled in the 5,000, not to say that it's never going to happen. But you have Sifan Hassan in that race. You obviously have Coco in that race. You had Obiri last year getting the gold. I think Kenya and Ethiopia are going to be stronger this year than they were last year in Doha. So I just think that depth there, whatever 6 they send are going to be really, really good. They're not going to send 6 people who can run 4:16 in the mile, right, in that 1500. Getting on the team, is it harder? Yes, in the 15. But if you make the team, the reward is you could possibly medal. We saw Jenny Simpson do it in 2011. We've seen numerous Americans just be in the mix, multiple Americans make the final. If she could double, she absolutely should at the trials.
Yeah.
But if not, I mean, put her on there with Simpson, Houlihan, Hiltz in that group. It's going to be crowded, but I think that's a good. You got to take a shot at the medal. I think it's not just about making a team. It's how do I have the best shot to medal?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we sometimes forget that athletes aren't just in the business of risk management. You know, this may show her and her coach, Mark Coogan, that you just ran the second fastest mile ever. You should be in the 1500, and you closed well to, obviously out kicking those women. She was in 4th, I think, with like a lap or 2 to go, and flew past those. So obviously she has that speed. We just don't know yet what she can do if it's tactical. Houlihan, we're still going to give the edge. Probably Simpson, we can give the edge.
We'll see him this
seemingly
weekend,
she's
right?
fighting for one spot.
We might see him this weekend, which could give us a little bit
Yeah.
of insight. But I just think, man, it's to get a medal in the 5, the bar is so high. And for whatever reason, in the United States, when someone runs really well at the 5, it's almost like they graduate to the 1500 of like, you're our best 5,000 meter runner. So you probably should run the 15.
Yeah.
You run the best in the 5,000. You probably should run the 1500 because that's a screwball race sometimes. Yeah. Let's go to Brazier. He produced the best number of the weekend, I think, which was 51.19. That was his last 400 on his way to an American record. A negative split.
That's insane.
An indoor 800. There's not much more I can say about this guy other than the Olympics for him need to be now or next week or maybe 2 weeks from now. 24 something and change over the last 200. It was just absurd. He was just toying with the competition.
I mean, are you? Because I am. I'm just going to say this. I'm thinking the world records in play. It's
outdoor.
Possible. Yeah, I think it's.
No, I don't. I mean, you and Gordon always, whenever anybody runs fast indoors, immediately think 140.91. That's a long way to go to 140.91. I think the race for the gold medal, I'm going to paraphrase Usain Bolt here, who last week said Christian Coleman is not going to get beat and the 100-meter race is already over. I mean, with 98% of the precincts reporting, Donovan Brazier has got this gold medal already. I mean, what he's doing is absurd right now, and he's making it look so easy at this point.
I mean, because Bryce Hoppel ran an indoor PB, and he was just
a lot of guys ran personal best there,
nowhere close with that last lap, and he did that 51-second split mostly in that last lap where he just turned on the turbo jets. I just think it's fascinating that he was able to break his own American record while basically running an experiment. I mean, kind of going out slow and putting himself in a tough position and then just ripping out of it.
Well, here's one thing, though. I think we do this with Purrier, too. We look at their amazing performance, and then we retroactively go back and figure out ways they could have run faster. And, hey, if Brazier even has splits, we have a couple races of evidence now that this is how Brazier likes the race. We saw him in the Diamond League final when he came back from like 20 meters down and chased down Nigel Amos. This might just be what yields his best race. Now, physiologically, is that the ideal, optimal way to run an 800? Probably not.
Yeah.
But there's another part of this, which is what is he comfortable with and what does he get the most out of running, and it's from this way.
Right.
So put him in a lab, maybe he could run a little bit faster in a different type of race, but I think he enjoys running like this, and I love watching it like this. It's amazing.
He's running USA's this weekend, correct?
You know, Lincoln will be there. We'll find out.
I think he's going faster this weekend. Even a little altitude. I think he's going a little quicker.
Sprinkle altitude in there?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Mix it together?
Just 800's about level, but the advantage and the disadvantage.
Well, the rounds and stuff are going to be tough. But he starts off with that fast 600. Not as fast as last year, but then runs a faster 800. What was your number of the weekend?
Yeah, I went with 9. I definitely wanted to go somewhere around Brazier or some of the Milrose games, but I decided to keep it on Mando Duplantis. 9. That's the number of age group world records now that Mando Duplantis has. Going all the way back to when he was 6 and 7 years old. The guy's been a prodigy forever. It always felt like he had the highest ceiling, no pun intended.
Yeah, of course.
But now that for him to be doing that, I know the pole vault's kind of a tricky event. You won't win every competition, and Sam Kendricks, for the last few years, has been the best championship pole vaulter in the world. But my gosh, if this guy stays this red hot, and I know he's jumping a lot this indoor season, so you just hope everything stays healthy and everything. It's one of those, like, how does this guy get beat? I mean, I know you're not always feeling it in the pole vault, but 617 is astronomical, obviously, and I think there's obviously room to grow here. He's been going over 6-meter bars with plenty of room to spare, and arguably could have been higher there. So I think obviously first year as a pro, doesn't have to worry about all the things of a college athlete. I expect him to win the gold.
Hair looks a little longer too.
It's definitely longer. Yeah,
that's key.
Yeah, just got that kind of that wild thing vibe going on.
The intimidation factor is at its peak. Next topic: winner who didn't win over the weekend. I go back to the women's mile. I give mine to Coco, Constance Klosterhalfen. Runs 4:17, does a lot of the work, so I think she can take something away from that. Now, you have to take that risk sometimes indoors. You got to go to the front. Yeah. But she was left vulnerable up there. And that race blew completely open when the rabbit stepped off. Then all of a sudden it was only 4 people, and everybody else was a mile behind because Nikki Hiltz got gapped tremendously. But she gets the German record, and she keeps rolling right along, even though she got beat by Purrier, who had the race of her life.
Yeah, she's got kicked down 2 races in a row, but still run some good efforts. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, it was Jessica Hull, and then now it's Purrier. But obviously, Klostas.
There you go.
Constance Klosterhalfen still in fantastic shape. I went with the woman who even finished 3rd in this race, Gemma Reekie. I mean, talk about a breakout. 157 was a validation of her ability in itself, but to come back and run 4:17, she's now taken a record from Laura Muir, who's in her training group. Laura's going to be going, wait a second, I'm the star here in middle distances in Great Britain. Further, in a British accent. Further proved that Reekie is someone to be reckoned with, whether it's going to be in the 800, which would seem maybe a better option for her given the weakness of the event, or the 1500 because
that's similar to the 15-5 choice, right? If you have the choice between the two, choose the 15. But if it's the 8 to 15, I'd run to the 800 as fast as I could at this point because it's wide open. Okay, we'll close out here. Under the radar performance. Because of all these American records and because of the world record, it was easy to lose some minor results. Things got lost in the shuffle. Ali Ostrander won the women's 3,000 at Milrose, but farther back in the pack, Alicia Monson finished 1 spot ahead of Winnie Kaladi, which means the record since the beginning of last cross country season. Now even, 5-5. It was 4-4 going into cross. Kaladi obviously won in Terre Haute, but now Monson finishes 1 spot ahead of Kaladi. Taylor Werner, though, redshirting, finished ahead of both of them.
Yeah.
But she's redshirting.
Yeah.
Literally running in a red shirt, which is awesome. I like it.
What she was?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Impressive. Yeah. Don't you love a good soap opera like we're getting with Alicia Monson and Winnie Kaladi? 5-5. That's
back and forth.
I went with the men's 3,000. Maybe overlooked because some of us here have already coronated.
Crowned him. We crowned him.
Crowned Edwin Kurgat.
With 99.99% of the precincts reporting on that one.
As favorite to win both the 5 and the 3. Now he's got serious challengers in both events. Tyler Day in that 5,000. And maybe also the man who beat him on Saturday at Milrose, Joe Klecker.
Yeah.
Top collegiate, runs, what did he get, 2nd in the race, I think? 7:47, I believe. Times are. There's a lot of numbers floating around in my head, but he beat Edwin Kurgat is the point. Klecker, after running that 4:01 at 5,000 feet of altitude to convert to a 3:55. Say what you will about that, but beating Kurgat here, getting that victory, flipping the results from NCAA cross, really, really significant. And considering I don't think this can be understated, that Nationals is in Albuquerque at 5,000 feet.
Yeah, it's
Klecker might have a shot to, if he runs the 5 and the 3, which I think he will, might have a shot to sweep both. We'll see. But he was second in that 5,000 last year and then third in the 3K. The guy's super, super fit right now.
You remember the collegians last year in Milrose
Yeah,
3000? What happened there?
They flipped, but yeah,
Fisher's only win over McDonald in a final last year. Look, I'm with you. I think it's between Klecker, Day, and Kurgat. Those are the 3 people who can win the 3, 5, or some combination, maybe even double. That's the list at this point. I just wouldn't put too much into this one race.
Okay.
For those 2 guys, it was a professional race with a rabbit. You're right, no altitude. Perhaps that's going to help Klecker when it comes time to do it. It was just such a weird sort of situation. But, I mean, Klecker's last 2 races, he gets the under 4 converted mile, and then now second to Milrose. That's good.
That's big. Yeah, he's just.
But you're bouncing from
solid.
one guy doubling to the other guy doubling.
I'm swayed easily. I'm an undecided voter.
Yeah, exactly.
In this polarized time, I'm an undecided voter. But yeah, no, Klecker to me has emerged as co-favorite with Kurgat.
It's good that there's multiple people there. We can say that, right? I don't think we want to see one person run away with this.
No, I
so
agree.
it's more fun. It'll be more interesting in Albuquerque. The second time we go to Albuquerque, because the first time is this weekend
right.
for USA's. We'll be back next week. We'll talk to you guys then.